Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Heritage Hip Hop, where we introduce you to your future favorite artists today. And today, we're going out of the country to get treated to the sounds of refreshing newness that the soul requires. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me, by the way. I appreciate that. I am Hayley Mather. I am a Toronto producer, mainly hip hop, but I do everything. I enjoy everything. And I am very happy to be here. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to get to talk to you. And this episode is actually brought to you by Headphone Therapy and the CEO of Headphone Therapy, Stanley Ipkiss, who believes that music is the language of the people, and we need to hear more females produce because they have a different appreciation for music than what most people hear.
Mm.
So when I saw you on Instagram as a producer, I jumped at the chance.
I love that. Thank you.
Because I believe that, especially in hip hop, we don't hear the female voice enough. And if we're not hearing the female voice, we don't appreciate the female's ear as well. Tell me about your ear and how music clicks when you hear it.
For me, music for me is all feeling. And it also, on top of feeling, is and I don't say this in some sort of conceited way, but for me, it's like a natural thing where I can make a song and I know exactly where I want things. And I am very much a perfectionist because I hear what it is that I want before I make it. So, I mean, that's a great thing to have, but it's kind of a curse at the same time because taking something that's in your head and applying it to perfection is a really tough battle for me, but it's also a challenge, and I love a good challenge. So for me, it's the feeling, it's perfection, but on top of that, it's just a composition. I think about all music and composition as far as, I'm a producer. I don't really sing that well. I can't rap, but I am a strong believer that the production of music needs to be excellent on its own. I believe an MC or a vocalist needs to be excellent on its own. And then when you combine them, that is the composition that you're looking for.
Do you know what we call that?
What do you call that?
We call them miracles. Because because look, when God makes something, it comes out of nowhere into tangible experience, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So as a producer or a person who makes music, or both, you're taking something from the ether and making it tangible so people can understand it.
Right.
That's called a miracle. That's also called translation of language as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
How would you define the language of music, and how do you interpret it so people can hear it?
I mean, that's tough. It's tough to say because it is subjective. But being a fairly empathetic person that I feel like I am lucky to have that ability to often put myself in other people's shoes and through different scenarios. So if I want to make music that is to, maybe I want to bring some sort of solidarity or maybe I want to make some sort of life epiphany music or whatever it is, I have to tap into those feelings that I know I might not necessarily be feeling, but other people are feeling. So that's kind of my tactic on how to do it. I don't know if it works or not, but my goal is to move people the same way that music has moved me up until this point.
Music is the language that all children learn first. Do you agree?
I do agree. I do. Absolutely.
So this is why I say that. When you're a child, everything is dictated by rhythm and harmony. When you as a mom, and salute to motherhood, because that's a job that I think goes very underappreciated. So salute to you.
Thank you.
But as a mom, you had a child within you. And the first song your child heard was your heartbeat.
Right.
So that
True.
even when you hugged your child, the child knew you were mom, not only from how you felt or how you smelled, but how the rhythm matched their understanding of life.
God damn, that is definitely true. I actually never even thought about it like that, but you're right.
Then when we go into school and the outside world,
Yeah.
first let's go to the outside world first. Before a child is born, one of the first songs a child hear after the heartbeat is the hum. Because when you hold your baby, you go, oh, and that is like soul building because now they're connecting to the sound.
Right.
Through elementary school, we teach them how to remix. I'm gonna hum you a song. Tell me what song it is.
Yeah, you got the ABCs.
I was humming Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh, right.
But look, it's the same beat.
It's the same thing.
Exactly. So our ears get very eclectic based on our environment, our experiences, and our feelings.
Absolutely.
That's why you create miracles, because you take us back to our childhood and you take us back to the feeling of joy, pain, elation, or even suffering, and we play it out through rhythm and beat. What emotion makes your beats more appetizing? Is it when you feel joy and you give joy? Or is it when you go through something and you translate that into music?
That is a very good question. It's funny because it's an interesting cycle. When I start my beats, it generally comes from a very difficult place. It's my form of therapy. It's always been my form of therapy. But with that being said, as I make my beats, I can be like 10 minutes into it. It can flip everything for me. And I can be joyful. I can be driven. I can be excited. So it creates an entirely different emotion for me than when I started. So how it ends, I don't really know, because that's a whole process, right? You go through all the emotions when you're creating music. But I would say definitely that I dig deep from hard times. And again, being an empathetic person, even the hard times that I feel other people are going through. So I channel through them. And that's where it starts originally. But it's never, I have a hard time making things that don't sound, I guess, moving. There's got to be some sort of movement as far as your emotions go in it. I can't do something that's just, a plain palette. It's got to be moving to the listener. And for me.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because we can sit still and when a song comes on, it can mentally or spiritually or emotionally take us somewhere else.
Exactly.
And movement isn't always an action verb. It can also be stationary because you're moving your mind.
Absolutely. And that's I think for a lot of producers and musicians, it is mostly your mind.
Okay. So you're my favorite superhero right now. Okay. I don't care if you want to be Wonder Woman, Spider Woman. I don't care if you want to be the Hulk. I don't really care. I'm gonna be honest.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. As being my favorite superhero, you always have a weapon of choice.
Oh.
What is the weapon that you use to make your music more efficient so that it is done and it is heard or listened to?
Ooh. You know what it is? My weapon is saying it out loud that I'm going to do it. Because if I don't say it out loud, then I get too caught up in my head. I overthink it. I don't give myself timelines. But if I say out loud, I'm doing this really scary thing. I'm going to release an album. I'm going to release a song or track or whatever, or I'm going to work with so-and-so. I manifest it. But if I say it out loud and I tell people, I am less likely to let them down. I'm more likely to let myself down. So for me, that is my weapon, is just saying it and vocalizing it. And it's probably not the answer you're thinking of, but it's the challenge for me, is if I'm the type of person where I might not necessarily know how to do everything, but I will say yes to doing everything and learn on the way how to get there.
So then you would be a masterful supervillain then.
I don't know. It seems like you know best at this point. I don't know.
I just give opinions. I always like the villains myself.
Well, there you go. I might be. I've got a big heart. I don't know if I can be a villain, but I think we all have that part in us that kind of helps us create music, is when you have, I mean, I have my own identity, but I think that it helps to have this alter ego while you're creating, because then it helps you forget about everything else that happens in your life. That I got to go, you know, I got to go pick up my kid. I got to go do this. I got to do that. But my alter ego doesn't have to worry about that shit. It just worries about the music and the creation.
That's why I said a villain. Because if you really look at, let's look at bring out a comic book character, and then we're going to relate it back to your music. Okay.
Yeah.
Batman is the ultimate supervillain. Am I right or am I wrong?
Ooh, this is funny that you're talking about this. I was just talking to someone about Batman today.
Mm-hmm.
He is the ultimate supervillain.
Yes.
Explain.
Graciously, every Batman villain is based off of the human ego and psyche. That's why they say he makes his own villains. And then if you're a vigilante, you go against the norm, which is the law, to do things your way. So that's why the police want him, because he's a villain, because he goes against the books. Yet, even as the villain, if you remember Two-Face in the Batman movie, the hero lives long enough to become the villain. And Batman was the hero that the city needed at the time until his time was up.
Yeah.
That's just like music. You're loved until you're not loved anymore, until you do something that somebody loves again. It's like people will want you, but rather get rid of you because you don't fit the bill or the law, and you're making your own way.
Absolutely. That is so accurate. Absolutely.
So what way did music show you not only was your voice important, but it was necessary to show people that it existed at the same time?
God. Like, where did it start? Like, how did it manifest?
Why not?
I think that for me, I think being a woman, I'm not going to lie to you, being a woman and living in a life and a society where you're told fairly often how to act, how to dress, how to look, that has been a major factor in my life growing up. And I got to a point in my life where I thought, I'm tired of this. I am so tired of this. So I think at that moment, it was either, well, I can go along with it and not say anything, or I can fight against it and try and create a pathway for other women where they can walk through the field with me because I've cleared it, you know, and not just me, other women as well. I mean, I'm not that important where I can do that, but I want to be part of that. So take that, and that aspect of me doing that made me want to create music. And I'm not scared of what I create. I used to be very fearful of what I created and if people would like it and if they cared. But I think when you go through major barriers in life, that directly affects how you create your art. And I'm just not scared at all of anything anymore. So the more barriers, the more conflicts, the more hills I have to climb up, I feel like the better musician that I can be.
I'm gonna disagree with you on something that you said.
Go for it.
You said that you're not in that position yet, but you are. I'm gonna ask you a theological question now. Let's get deep.
All right.
Why did God make women?
Oh, damn. We're gonna go there. Damn. I mean, how much time do we have?
Give me your 2-minute answer.
I think they level out humanity. I feel like we bring a sense, not all women. I can't see, this is the other thing. I'm not going to say all women.
That's not the point. I didn't ask about all that. Just women. Just women. Why did God make women?
I think it was to keep everything else together. I think we fucking keep everything together. That's just me. But we're the glue for a lot of things. And we're not even just the glue, we're major pieces as well. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like most of us are the glue for those pieces.
Okay, that's a great answer. Now let me tell you what I believe.
Yeah.
And it could be right or wrong, like any of our opinions. I believe God made women because creation was incomplete. I believe that the man was made to build, but the woman was made to nurture and make complete. I've always heard that a man could give a woman a house, but she'll give the man a home.
Right.
A man could give woman dead meat and she'll make him a meal.
Right.
A man could give a woman nonsense, but then she'll give him common sense.
Right.
Or vice versa. But here's the best part about being a woman that men take for granted. God gave y'all intuition where men are given ego. And it's only when we work together that we appreciate life in all its aspects.
Absolutely.
The reason why I bring the purpose of the woman to this is because, especially in hip hop, women have been there from day one. But because money and male ego comes into it, and I'm not saying everybody does it. Shout out to you who don't. I don't really care who you are or not. This is her interview. But as we listen and acknowledge and appreciate the woman's stature, creation, purpose, and value, not only do we make life better, our ears become better. Tell me the voice of one woman that you heard that not only opened life up to you, but it helped you create in a way that was more sufficient for yourself.
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say Erykah Badu for me is she has changed a lot of things on how I looked at female musicians, especially in a world of, hip hop and collaborating with men, and how she carried herself. And even now to this very day, like, she is so strong in who she is, and she hasn't molded herself for anyone. For me, from the very moment that I heard her, and I was pretty young, she was the first person that I thought of when you just said that. And I don't even know if I've really thought about it. I mean, there's tons of women that I could mention. Like, there's a bunch now. Like, I love like Linnell Grant, who's producing for Toby. Like, she's solid. Like, she's doing exactly what I want women to be doing right now, right? But I would say it started with Erykah for me, as far as me loving hip hop and watching women inside of it.
All right, I like where you take that. Let's go. Let's me and you go on that journey a little further.
All right.
If it wasn't for a woman, the hip hop industry would have never started. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Sylvia Robinson, Sugar Hill Records.
Absolutely, yeah.
New Jersey hip hop. Salute. Now, if it wasn't for the wife, the husband couldn't go out and do his shows, correct?
No, I don't know if I agree with that.
Tell me why.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, they could. I don't know how far they could have gone or succeeded. But that's my take. I feel, and it depends too. I think it solely depends on the type of relationship you have as well. I mean, if you've got a rocky relationship, that could hinder things. But if you've got a strong relationship and a strong woman beside, nowadays, you don't even have to have a strong woman beside you. Like, the strong woman can be the focal point. She can be the artist, and it can be the man supporting her now, right? But I don't know.
Right there.
Yeah,
stop right there. You made my point. Thank you, everybody. And this is why Heritage Hip Hop brings you your future favorite artists and producers today. Thank you. Because you made my point. You brought up the magic word, relationship. And the reason why things are better is our relationships, not only within how we see ourselves, but also how we interact with our instruments and also the people that we work with.
Absolutely.
You know what picture you have that made me fall in love with your art and you?
What's that?
The one where you play the guitar.
Oh, no way.
That's what made me want to interview you.
Love that.
You have very beautiful pictures, believe me. You have very beautiful
Thank
pictures.
you.
But
Thank
but
you.
it was the art of you using your fingers, because you show precision and thoughtfulness instead of roughness and randomness.
Right.
So when I saw that, I said, okay, there's a relationship between the producer and the instrument, like there's a relationship between the rapper and the pen and pad.
Right.
What instrument translates your thoughts or your understanding of music the best?
Piano, always piano for me. Absolutely. And I learned it pretty young. I was put into lessons pretty young, and I did like Royal Conservatory, and thank God for that, because I'm not quite sure I would be right where I am right now without it. It was the foundation of how to read music. It was my foundation of picking up my guitar and feeling more confident about picking up my guitar. I picked up a violin, I picked up a flute, I picked up a bass guitar, I picked up drums. And to have the ability to read music, and it was the rhythm. It's what taught me. I had rhythm before. I think we all, like you said, we all are kind of born with it, but it's what taught me the importance of it. And I translate, like I have my keyboard right over here, and I use it all of the time. When I get ideas, I sit there and I just jam out on this thing. And it's usually what inspires me is that piano. And it will always be, I'll always thank my parents for putting me in lessons. That was the best thing they've ever done for me.
Piano is my favorite instrument too.
Is it? Why? Tell me.
Because the piano is the only instrument that ever made my heart and soul merge. Everything else was a head nod, but when I hear it, I feel it, and I feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you have control over it, over everything. The pedals, like it's the best. I hear you.
There's certain songs, which we're going to get into for the rapid fire questions, everybody, that the piano eloquently makes better. And when you take the piano out, it destroys the entire song.
Ooh, yeah.
So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But as a hip hop producer, right, the MPC is something that most people talk about. What is your setup, and how do you go through your ritual of how to create and make the sounds that you love?
Yeah. I mean, it changes frequently. Like sometimes it will start with me picking up my guitar. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. Nothing is very consistent with me. So that's been a really tough challenge with actually just creating this last album is I still think it's important to have a flow within an album because I want to create a sense of feeling. So it's definitely a difficult thing for me because I appreciate everything. I appreciate Vivaldi. I appreciate I appreciate everything. So it's a struggle for me moment to moment, but I would say like I've got my MPK here. I've got my keyboard. I use Logic. I did start out with Pro Tools. I actually self-taught myself Pro Tools when I was, 15, 14, I don't know. And then got to a point where other people were like, why aren't you using this or try this? And I tried Logic and I was like, man, this is way easier than Pro Tools. I feel like I can do anything now, but I'm glad I started with Pro Tools because now I feel confident to use anything else. I don't know if you agree, but Pro Tools for me was the most difficult.
I don't make beats.
So there you go. Well, I'll tell you. And I'm sure many might agree with me. I don't know. I know people that still use Pro Tools. It also depends on what it is. If you're sitting in on live music or if you're making beats, it's all different, right? But basically, I start with I have all of my samples. If I don't use my guitar, if I don't use my keyboard, I have a bunch of samples and I go through them. And if one hits me, then that's my inspiration. All I need to hear is a note or a loop or whatever, or I can create a sample out of something, out of a song that I'm feeling in that moment. And that sets the tone for that entire day for me.
Okay. We're going to get controversial in a little while. And controversy is what I love about Heritage Hip Hop, because we bring the real.
I'll bring it. Let's go.
But before we get there, I want to ask you something. What's the most fulfilling part of hip hop for you to produce for, as far as genre? Is it boom bap, trap, West Coast horn, Midwest, laid back, Miami bass? Is it today's drill sound? What sound of hip hop really captures your heart and that you create freely? More so.
It's I would say it's a little mix of boom bap for sure. Boom bap 100%. There's something about drums and boom bap that I feel like they're hitting my heart. Like it's, you know, when you listen to something that's so good and you almost feel like you're nauseous because you love it so much, that's what boom bap does to me. And a lot of the people that I speak to and fellow musicians and all of that, a lot of them do boom bap as well, like Apathy, Stu Bangas. But I also do really appreciate something a little bit more mellow. Like I mean, when I started all of this, and I'm really lucky, and I'm gonna be ready for this. This is a freshwater sweater. This is Apollo Brown's new clothing line.
Nice.
He is a friend of mine, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going on here. I'm gonna wear this, and I'm gonna rep it for him while I'm here, because he made sure that I got it, and he doesn't ship to Canada, so I got it.
Tell Apollo Brown, come to Heritage Hip Hop. Stop playing. We need to talk to him too.
I'll tell him.
All right.
But yeah, like I started out listening to a lot of Apollo Brown and like Clouds, all of these like great tracks. And there's definitely that more mellow side that I really appreciate, like Eloquent. I still am. Love Stone's Throw Records. Anything that comes out on Stone's Throw Records. So obviously like Huge Doom, Dilla, just Quasimodo. Like I love it all. You know what I mean? So, but it's not all, like Stone's Throw is all over the place. And that's what I love, is that I feel like Stone's Throw is really, there's a lot of room for people to be creative on that record label. And I'm really lucky because I don't know if you know Stimulator Jones.
Never
heard of him. So you got him. He's wicked. He plays a million instruments. He's amazing at all of them. He signed with Stone's Throw.
Okay.
Get on that. He's dope. Anyways, so yeah, I would say I bounce back and forth. I do that. Like I love the boom bap. I love the heavy shit. I love things that, you know, I can drive around to and I feel angry and it like helps me get my emotions through. But I also love I guess like those life epiphany soundscape, you know, just like those soul moving sounds, and incorporate it into hip hop. I think it's beautiful.
Okay. Now, hip hop is the only genre of music that stays alive, because everything else just dies in sound. But one thing that hip hop took from jazz music is that the beats tell a story.
Absolutely.
Do you think today's music tells the story of society, music-wise, not vocally, but with the sound? Are we capturing the messages or the pains of society musically when we create the sound for the people to listen to?
In hip hop, I think that really depends on the artist. I think not as much. I will be honest, not as much. I was listening to, so Apathy just dropped an album, Where the River Meets the Sea. I don't know if you've heard it yet. It is incredible. But what it is that the songs tell a story, like the instruments, everything, the beats, and he has made that album almost like a personal diary that he shared with his fans. So he made that album. And I was listening to it when it came out, and I messaged him and I said, man, the album's great. And he's like, thank you so much. And I was like, I don't remember the last time that I've cried while listening to an album. So he's given me a little bit of hope that people are still doing that. and maybe, you know, I don't know too many other artists. Maybe to be honest, I haven't had a bunch of time to be listening to other artists, so I can't even say yes or no. I gotta be honest. But I did feel like everything was starting to sound very similar. There wasn't a lot of diversity, and I feel like we're ready for that. I feel like I'm ready for that.
I don't believe people fully appreciate the voice of the people. I think people only appreciate the trend and the fad. I don't think people really are listening anymore. People just go at what feels good.
Right.
Because being a woman has been trendy in hip hop, probably for 5 or 10 years now, where the woman was also the additional piece to hip hop. I love the fact that we have women who own their own labels now and are signing other artists. I love the fact that the women are taking precedence in the corporate office and even behind the boards, even DJs, you know?
Right. Yep.
Because I believe in equality under God's law, not equality given by men in the law.
Right, by the patriarchy is what that is.
Not even patriarchy. I just think it's just total bullshit when you put somebody in charge and we take God out of it and we only do what feels right. Because right is subjective. It's not moral.
Right, absolutely.
So here's the controversy that I want you to talk about.
Yeah.
What is the voice of the woman and why does hip hop not listen to it too much?
Oh man. I don't know if it's just hip hop. I mean, it really applies across the board. I mean, and it's also the music industry. The music industry has been so male dominated. There's been, you know, men are protected. They are, you know, they pay people off. Like they just have this sense of this is our world, this is our industry. And I won't lie, it made me nervous at the beginning, deciding like, this is what I want to do. And this is my living. But at the same time, I don't know if you can tell from my photos and things that I post, I usually go against what everyone else is doing. And I like to challenge it a bit because I know who I am. But I think so many industries are male dominated. It's not just hip hop. It's not even just that genre of music. You know, I have artists that are friends, like Lights. I'm friends with a whole bunch of women that are musicians, and they struggle through the same thing. And they do genres like, you know, drum and bass, or they do country. It's all still the same thing across the board. Now in hip hop, I feel like maybe, and I could be wrong, and I know a lot of women that really like and they enjoy making hip hop. It's slightly intimidating. I think that we expect to not be taken seriously, which is too bad. But it's intimidating. That's exactly what I think it is. And that's why the percentages are so low on women that work in the music industry. And I also would love to be a voice for women that can say, hey, you know what, like if I can do this, you can definitely do it. And there's plenty of women that are doing it right now. I think it's the industry on its own though. It's very scary. It's very corrupt. So I think the whole industry needs to be rewired from bottom to top. It needs to be unwound because it's kind of a mess right now. And I think a lot of people will agree on that. And I've spoken to a lot of male artists that even are worried about me. They're like, hey, you know, I really care about you. I just want to make sure that you look out for yourself. And and I understand where they're coming from and they're right, but it's scary. That's so scary, man, because I don't want that to even be a thing. I want to be able to make my music and do my thing freely and not have to worry about someone preying on me or saying that I can only make an album for them if I do X, Y, and Z. So that's my mentality on it right now.
Unfortunately, it's not just women who get that, it's men who get that too. So everybody, unfortunately, is getting preyed on, but you have to be prayed up, faithed up, moraled up, and conscience of self and others so that you can protect yourself and your loved ones as well.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely. And that was like, I was talking to Bank, and Bank is a great dude. And he said, you know what, Hayley, and it was the best advice I think he's given me. He said, 2 out of the 20 people that you meet in the industry, those are the ones you can trust. And he's like, because you're a woman, even Apathy was saying it too, like, because you're a woman, it's probably 1 out of 20. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go too far deep into that one because we get too controversial, because we got some stuff we can talk about that's going on in the media right now that got the country in the uproar.
Oh, I know.
And I don't want to talk about that right now.
No, let's not do that right now. I've been talking about it since it happened. So.
Yeah, so let's not go there. But let's go here though. Part of being a producer is the gratifying feeling of knowing that your music is heard or listened to. How do you know when somebody fully connects with your sound?
That's a good question. The way that I know if someone connects with it is when people take time out of their day to message me. And that's the best part, is when you release something and you're a little bit unsure about it and you don't know what people are going to think, and you open up your phone and you got a message this long. And it's, this was how my day started. This is what I'm going through in my life. And this is what a lot of artists, I know that they get a lot of these, they get the whole life story. And, I think as much as they, like, I've got like 4,000 followers, but people that have, 60,000, 100,000, they get tons of those. And, you don't want to ignore them, but at the same time, you have to create your own boundary of what it is that you can offer emotionally to people, right? Or else you'll just go nuts. But it's those messages that you get, and they say, oh, you probably get this a lot, but and you probably won't message because I see that you've got, and I'm like, I'm reading it, and I'm going to respond to you because you took time out of your day to appreciate me, and that I am so grateful for. That's how I know that they connect, is when they tell me, but they tell me everything along with it, their struggles, their life, what's going on. And I'm definitely grateful that people open up to me because of my music.
Shout out to everybody watching or listening on Heritage Hip Hop on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, etc., because we want you to like, subscribe, share, comment. But also, we are in Canada today talking to Hayley Mather, producer and artist who not only loves hip hop, but she loves the fact that she is rather than what she does. Because she is. Let's be real. So I want to ask you a question that's more depth related than music related.
Okay.
What do you think is more important? Knowledge, wisdom, or understanding? You can only pick one, though.
Knowledge, wisdom, or understanding. I am going to flat out say understanding, because I think the other two follow understanding. That's
okay. So if Hayley Mather had a book and I'm the student and I'm learning about production and feelings through production, what is the major lesson of understanding you want everybody to get who experiences your music?
It would be based around, I think, not being fearful. It's not second guessing yourself. It's being authentic. And I think everyone deep down knows what it is that they like and the sound they like and what they want to project. But it's everything outside in society that is scaring them. And it's making them second guess themselves or taking the risks. So I think that is the most important thing, is just doing the scary thing in production, in whatever in life. That is what that book would be about. Just do the scary thing. That's what it would be called.
I love that, because if you do it while you're still scared, that means you're still doing it.
There you go.
You know?
There you go.
Do you have a full-length project or any projects out where people can hear your music?
A lot of them are in the works right now. A lot of them are happening right at this very moment. I will, you know what I'll do? I'll definitely post some stuff up when we're done here. I've been holding off on posting things up. I had a lot of stuff going before. I did a track with Socrates, with lights. I did some stuff and it fell through because you could probably Google my name and find out why it fell through. Either way, that was what I had spent my time on. And yeah, now you got to Google me and find out what that controversy is. Yeah. It was a big one. But I'm basically, because of that controversy, I've had to start from scratch. And I'm so glad that I am starting from scratch right now. It means that I'm not riding on anyone's coattails. I am not, no one can say that, I didn't do it on my own. This I've done on my own. But right now I'm working on my new album, which will be out hopefully shortly. I wanted it out this summer, but I had a lot of things that happened. I had a friend pass away. I gave myself a concussion, did a lot of crazy shit. So it's a little bit delayed, but that's okay. I'd rather take my time and not rush it and make sure that it's exactly how I want it, to make sure that I'm really proud of it, because I've put a lot of work into it. I have a lot of people on the album too, like GQ is going to be on it, which I'm stoked about. I love GQ. Stimulator Jones, who I was telling you about before, he's doing some guitar on it. Like there's going to be some dope people on it. So yeah, I really want to make sure that it's done right. And I can run it through all of my friends that are musicians and say, listen, I need your honest opinion. Hit me hard with it. And then I'll release it.
That's dope, because I want to invite you to participate in a new show I'm bringing on Heritage Hip Hop called Truth Behind Beats. Nice. And this is about being creative on the fly and showing the world your producer talent. So I want to invite you to that
Thank you. Absolutely.
As an extension of appreciating your talent, not for the wrong reasons. Just put it like that. And to show the world that not only do we appreciate everybody in the hip hop culture, but we want to preserve the culture through knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and more importantly, insight as well. So for everybody out there who wants to hear or see more of Hayley Mather, please give them your social media.
You can link me up at my IG account would be Hayley Mather, HayleyMather. And right now I'm sticking to that. I had my SoundCloud up again because of this controversy. I took everything down because I want this to be me. This whole project that's coming out, and I'm working with some other people right now. Like I'm working with Profess. I think Ski Beats is on the album too. I got a lot of stuff going on. I have a lot of traveling to do once Canada opens up. People are just waiting on me and I can't move, which is so frustrating. But yeah, I think it's going to be a big dump of music at once. And I'm super excited for it. I'm hoping people will like it. I just can pray that they do. And if they don't, that's fine, because I know that it came from an honest place and I enjoy doing it.
Well, when you come to Jersey, we got people for you to meet, and we're going to take care of you. So don't even worry about it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you'll be an honored guest on behalf of Heritage Hip Hop. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So with that being said, it's now time for the rapid fire questions. Are you ready to play this game with me?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. So the rapid fire questions are not yes, no questions. These are questions that basically show your depth and understanding of hip hop and yourself as a producer, artist, participant, etc. in the culture. You ready to go?
Let's go.
What song or album from another person's catalog perfectly describes you?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I got to do this fast, eh? Oh my God, I can't do this fast enough. Are you kidding me? That's the hardest thing you could ever ask me. I'm gonna say that perfectly describes me. You know what? I'm gonna go with Campolo Lucchini because yeah, I know. And you know why? Because it is fun. That song is a fun track. And you know, I think Ski Beats also did that one. So big ups to Ski Beats. But it's a fun track. And at the end of the day, as much as I think in my head, I'm a fun person. And that track gets me hyped.
And in that track, they don't rhyme. They just talk through the entire song. They're not even rhyming, which is funny.
It's random. I love it.
Okay. I always ask an MC, who is hip hop as an MC outside of hip hop? So they're not a rapper, but they have MC talent. I'm gonna flip the question for you. What producer that's not a hip hop producer perfectly encapsulates hip hop in your understanding of it?
Oh, that's a good one. I would go with I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but if someone doesn't,
it doesn't matter.
No,
we're not scared of anybody.
Unless people are listening and they're expecting me to say them. I would probably say it doesn't really do hip hop. Mark Batson, I would say. He's done hip hop, but he's done a lot of like Leanne Rhymes. He's done like across the board stuff. And he and I get along really well. He's a great guy. But I feel a lot of what he does, there's always like an undertone of, not every single song, but I hear undertones of like hip hop, and a lot of songs that he produces, I can't wait to grab them and be like, I can't wait to put something on this. I'm going to put some boom bap on this. So that's just me personally. I'm very familiar with his music, so that's probably why I'm looking at him. And he'll probably laugh at that. He'll probably appreciate that.
Hip hop has always been derived of the voiceless not being heard. Mm-hmm. In the hip hop culture, you represent a minority of hip hop culture, which is Caucasian, and being a Caucasian woman as well. What's the hardest thing you faced in having to prove yourself to others because of that in hip hop?
Can I be honest with you? I don't feel, and maybe it's the people that I've surrounded myself with, I don't feel any of that is hard, other than the fact that I think the hardest part, and this isn't even hard, like I was on the phone with Bank and I was like, listen to this track, and I played it, and he was like, Hayley, you do not look how you sound at all. And but he's right. He's like, I'm like the baby face, but he's right. He's right. And I can't fault him for that, So that's the other thing is that, I can say I'm a producer and people assume the last thing I do is hip hop. Or like, they go, oh, well, yeah, my cousin does country music. You should produce for them. And it's like, but no, just because, no, that's not how it works. So, but I'll be honest with you, I've surrounded myself with some really amazing people where like, we just don't even think about shit like that. Like, if you think about it, like there's so many now where it's like, I don't really think people think, maybe I'm wrong, think twice about it. If I was a rapper, maybe, but that would maybe be a different story, because how many female rappers do you see out there that are Caucasian? Probably not a whole lot.
No, there's a good deal. Oh,
yeah. Who?
You want a Caucasian female rapper? Renegade the Rebel.
Oh, okay. Oh, no.
She's from Seattle, Washington.
True enough. I know who that is.
I could connect you.
enough, yeah.
That's one. I've seen a couple on showcases, especially with the new age of hip hop, but people don't really rhyme. They just go, I mean, you'll find rappers, I guess, but
right.
I don't fuck with them anyway unless they're hot, so it doesn't matter. I mean, that's how I feel about everybody. I don't like everybody's music, so I mean, I give them voice because you deserve to have your story told.
I appreciate that.
But a lot of people are garbage. I don't fuck with them. I don't care.
Yeah.
You're not though, and I appreciate you giving me the interview. So here's another question for you. What's the perfect hip hop beat? Meaning you wish you made it for somebody first.
Oh, I like this one. I wish I made it first. I'm gonna say, let's go with probably Check the Rhyme, Tribe Called Quest. I wish I made that track.
Classic. That's a great beat.
Wish I made that. And like, wow. I could say anything else, like I Know by De La Soul, but like that's a sample from Steely Dan's Peg, right? So I don't know, man. I would say Check the Rhyme. Wish I made that first, but I think everyone does.
What's better, clip art beats or soul or inspiration beats? And when I say clip art, I mean sampling. What's better for you, sampling or making from the creative ether?
The creative ether for me. I can do samples, no doubt, but I think when I do samples, I feel like I can get lost in the previous sound and I carry it over. I can't help it. I carry it over, and I mean, with that, I don't want it to sound like the previous sound. That's the whole idea of sampling something, right? So for me, it's starting from scratch, and I like creating new sounds. I feel like that's the most rewarding for me.
Okay, I want to ask you a sampling question then.
All right.
Who's the king of hip hop, James Brown or Bob James?
Oh. Oh my God, what you're laughing, dude. Oh God.
That's a producer question. I mean, what can I say?
It's not James Brown, is what I'm gonna say.
You think Bob James is the king of hip hop?
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to say yes or no to either one of those questions because James Brown is the drum of hip hop, to be honest, but Bob James brought a lot of melody and sequencing to hip hop too.
They offer different things. That's why when you asked me that and I saw you laughing, that was tricky.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask you another one that's just as tricky.
Yeah, let's go.
Who gave to hip hop more musically, Jermaine Dupri or Sean P. Diddy Combs?
Oh,
wait, musically,
Dupri.
You think so, for real? Tell me why.
Because, and like, this is the thing. I mean, Diddy created a ton of opportunities. Fucking Bink is gonna be so mad that I didn't say Diddy because he used to work with Diddy. But now you got me second guessing myself. I don't know. I'm thinking about all the tracks now.
Well, think about it this way. I'm gonna let you think while I talk.
Yeah.
Verses, I think, is very corny, but it's very well produced. I like the verses the way it is now, but the way it started out, it was pretty good. You know, when people had to pick a winner.
Right.
But I said verses got really overdone, and my dream verses that I haven't seen yet would be P. Diddy versus Jermaine Dupri, production, not song that they're on, but more production level.
Right.
I think Jermaine Dupri is not appreciated as a producer the way he should be. And I think
absolutely not. He's overlooked. He's sincerely overlooked.
Yes. And I think Diddy is respected, but not on the level he should either. Like Q-Tip. I don't think Q-Tip's respected as a
Q-Tip is I feel like he's a music genius. Like by far. And like the variation on his albums of everything that he's done after Tribe Called Quest, like just the man's incredible. He's incredible.
And that's my point. So when I think of Jermaine Dupri and P. Diddy, I think about not only production, but also think about the remix.
Yes. Yeah.
So then I ask you.
Well, you
Jermaine
asked me,
Dupri
and
or P.
like,
Diddy?
that's a lot to think about. That's a
Yeah.
lot. I feel like I got to write an essay on this one. I can't just give you an answer. Jeez.
Okay, well, I'll give you one more. Another
Right.
verses. You ready?
Yeah.
Q-Tip or DJ Quick?
Q-Tip.
That easy?
Yeah, because that doesn't say anything bad.
No.
But for me, Q-Tip is he's up there on my top 5 list of people that inspired me in hip hop. So that's why it's easy for me, because he's in the top 5.
Okay. All right. So how about this? I'm not gonna ask you your top 5 producers. Y'all can follow her to get that, because you can ask her that or put it in the comments below. If you would like to know. I don't want you to give it to them on IG. I want them to actually comment on this, because we want to get this interview out, because I want the world to know you're here. I don't want to just make you just on Heritage Hip Hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But leave it in the comments. If you want to know who our top 5 is, leave it in the comments so she can answer you back. Okay. We talked about the piano being our favorite instrument.
Yes.
Right. What's your top 3 hip hop tracks with pianos in it?
That's a good one. With piano, I would say, oh my God, man, this top 3 thing is just killing me. I could pick like 20.
All right, give me 5.
I would say let me think. You know what? I might cheat here. I have a list. I have
okay.
a list.
Right? Okay.
I actually have a list of, and people might think I'm wild, I have lists of instruments, so piano, guitar, instruments that I have in my house, of songs that I want to remix, but I want to play the instrument myself.
Okay.
So I have lists made up. This is how my head works. I have lists made up of my favorite hip hop tracks with piano or guitar or bass or whatever.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
That means I got to talk to you more, because then we have some things we could talk about.
Oh, cool. Dope. I love that. Here's my list. I would go with, I've got a lot here. My favorite, I would say, let's go with, people might think this is cheesy, but Miss Jackson was brilliant. And
okay, that's a nice piano, a little simple one.
It's pretty brilliant, because without that piano, I'm not sure it'd be the same track.
I agree.
It would not be. It's like what you were saying before. What else? I would say let's go with Self-Control by Frank Ocean. I know it's not necessarily down that whole hip hop realm. I like that track a lot.
Okay.
I'd go with, I mean, Shimmy Shimmy Ya. You can't.
Yeah.
That is like that. Again, one of those songs where you take that out, and I don't even think it's gonna be the same thing.
I agree. You know what? Let's get special mentions. What about, how do you like Milkbone? Keep It Real.
How do I like Milkbone?
Yes, Keep It Real. That's a New Jersey hip hop classic beat.
I do. Are you asking me if it's my top 5?
Piano wise, I'm talking about.
It's dope. It's not my top 5.
Okay, no, I mean, that's cool.
It's dope. It's definitely dope. Not my top 5.
How about Nas, Project Windows?
Hell yes.
That piano is amazing, right?
Hell yes, absolutely. Oh Oh, absolutely. I have New York State of Mind on here.
Yeah, that's a.
Got that. Got Raekwon's Ice Cream on here.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. Now I have This Is America on here by Donald Glover.
From okay,
By
okay.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not obvious.
That is true. It's not.
It's not obvious, but it's good. It's good. There's some other ones on here that I don't think I'd love.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. I hadn't really thought about it until you asked me, so that's good. I'm glad I have this list though, because I could not think of it off the top of my head.
All right, so let's move on. I got about 3 more questions, and then we're going to finish our interview off.
Yeah.
If there's an artist that you would like to produce a whole EP or LP for, who would it be and why?
I would love to. I would probably say right now, and I'm gonna try and choose someone that's not a friend of mine because I feel like that would be easy. Because I already know that we jive musically, right? So I'm gonna choose some. I'm gonna choose someone. I would probably go with. Oh, that would be a good one. It's Childish Gambino.
Okay.
That would be legendary for me. I have so much respect for him. Other than that, I would go with I don't want to say him because he's a friend of mine, but Apathy. He's such a good dude. But you know what?
Okay.
He's also a producer. So that would be intimidating. It's so intimidating to even go there. But he and I jive, I think, as far as music goes.
Okay.
Third person that I would love to do that for would be I mean, Cameron would be dope. Cameron would be super dope. That would be dope.
Yeah, but, that would be.
I already know some people going for that right now, so I cannot do that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Why are you saying you can't?
I don't want to step on toes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. You're right.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You're right.
We don't want to, but we have to at certain times. So yes, you do.
Business is business, right?
Opportunity is opportunity.
True.
So why not? Okay, let's get second to last question.
Yeah.
Give me a testimony. How did you like appearing on Heritage Hip Hop, and would you recommend us to any other artist, producer, anyone in hip hop culture to interview?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? We're tight now. Of course I am. Of course I would. Absolutely I would. And I'm glad you reached out to me. Yeah, no, this was good. And you know what? I've done a few podcasts before and the questions were, I hope they're not watching, were okay, but they weren't as in depth about hip hop or music. Some of them wanted to talk about the modeling that I've done for a long time. I'm like, but this is not why I'm here. That's a whole separate, I mean, I don't mind mentioning it, but I would say that your questions were incredibly relevant and they were fun. I'm not going to sleep tonight because I'm going to be thinking about half of those questions.
Well, thank you very much. And for everybody who likes models, you'll like her too. So go to her Instagram. Believe me, it's nice. So I thank you once again for inviting us into your life and into your gift. I thank you. The thing I like about and love about hip hop is the voices being exposed that we don't hear, and with you being international, that's even more exciting to me because there's many places my body has not physically traveled, but my mind has gone, and you've given me another realm of thought to think about. So thank you once again for appearing on Heritage Hip Hop. I appreciate you highly. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much.
All right, so before we go, let me drop a couple lines. Everybody, if you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop. You can follow us at heritagehiphop.com, where members of our website get free music and exclusive music. Right now, we have playlist number 8. And Ms. Mather, what I do is I put together a playlist, like a CD's worth long, an hour and 20 minutes at the max, of some of the best music people have not heard. And I offer it for free to all members of the website. Right. And for this month, we have an exclusive album called FMR by the No Good Bastards, featuring Deuce H. Wood, the 5th. Grumpy old Man, and featuring also Chief Boogie, aka Polo Fresh, rest in peace, who passed away. All right. We offer free music and exclusives to our members of the website. Membership is free. So just follow us at heritagehiphop.com. We're also on YouTube, Anchor.fm, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and all that. And Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. All right. We have merch, storefrontier.com/heritage hip hop. Get a shirt. I got new things coming. But most importantly, you see this woman right here? She's a producer. When her album drops, we ask that you do not stream it and sit with it. Stream to figure out if you like the sound, but we ask that you purchase the music, because purchasing shows the artists that you really connect with them. When you don't purchase your music, you're renting your music. And we don't believe in renting music. We believe in ownership. Because if you really connect to a song that it makes you cry, it makes you laugh, it makes you feel good, and you don't own it, say the internet went down because it's a big, let's say, conspiracy or something happens. If you don't own your music, you don't have your music. Do you agree?
I 100% agree. Absolutely. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
And we live and stand by that. So when that album drops, guess what? I'm getting it. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And can I do the quickest shout out about Apollo Brown's? Please, if you do not yet, follow on Instagram Fresh Water. It's the best clothing. It's dope. He just released all of his clothing maybe a month ago, and he's trying to get it off the ground. And he's trying to separate it from his music. So as a friend, and he's done a lot for me, please do follow him, Freshwater Clothing. It's dope stuff. It's comfortable. I'm wearing it right now.
And Apollo Brown, please come on Heritage Hip Hop. It would be much appreciated, because I have a lot to ask you about. For real. And with that being said, we got to the last question of the Heritage Hip Hop podcast. Once again, Ms. Mather, I thank you very much. I'll pray that the Most High grants you peace, love, blessed serenity, and the ability to not only do your art and produce your art, but to change lives and produce joy with the people that you touch as well.
I appreciate you, and peace and love to you and your family. This was great. Thank you.
And with that being said, here's the final question. 500 years from now, when they go to the hip hop museum in Canada, the Bronx, or wherever, and somebody goes into the hall and they see your name, and they wonder who you are, and they push your red button and your hologram comes out the wall, and they read your story and hear your beats, your music will be introduced to people of another generation centuries from now. My question is, what is the legacy you leave behind that made the world better because you produced great music?
The legacy that I will leave behind is exactly the same theme of what I've been talking about, is to do the scary thing and to not fear anything. And I want to translate that through my music, and I hope I do.
Well, fear does not come from God. That is a spirit that is man-made. And whenever there is fear, there is caution. But sometimes we got to throw caution to the wind, and we have to extend ourselves to go beyond our goals and set limitations. The best thing to do with your talent is to show it off, because God said we are the lights of the world, and we were supposed to be put on top of the mountain and not under a bushel, because at the top of the mountain, we show God's grace and we bring everybody to his glory. So be glorious and be yourself and show the world how wonderful you are as an individual and as a creator. With that being said, this is Karev, a Heritage Hip Hop with the very intelligent. She's dope. I can't even put in the words, but it's more than music. It's also intellect and depth with Miss Hayley Mather. And with that being said, we say peace and we out. Thank you for watching our presentation. We ask that you subscribe to our YouTube family and hit the notification bell for updates. Please like, comment, and share this video.
Real hip hop. Real hip hop. We here.